Hey everybody, welcome to Everything's Plastic. Today we have a McFarlane DC Multiverse action figure review, and this is The Dark Knight Returns Superman. Really enjoyed this comic book storyline, and I really enjoyed the animated film as well. I was pretty excited to finally pick this one up. So we'll start this one off with a close look at the box. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the packaging on these anyways. Closer look at the side, nothing on top, bottom. On the back here we have a picture of Batman and the Build-A-Figure. Pretty awesome pose, and there are 4 pieces to complete this Build-A-Figure. And Superman actually comes with back legs. On the back here too, there's instructions to complete the Build-A-Figure, and all 4 figures in the wave. We have a closer look at Joker, which I'm not overly a fan of, I don't know why. I have Robin, really love Robin figure. Batman, definitely one of my favorite Batman figures. I'm pretty sure that this is actually my first Superman figure. I love these McFarlanes, I'm a big Batman fan. Superman, I'm kind of on the fence. I did really like Superman as a kid, kind of drifted away from Superman. I'm a big fan of Joker, but I'm not actually a fan of this figure. I did like Joker in the series, but I just don't like the way McFarlane did this one. I will eventually pick it up. I'm actually waiting for this one to go on sale. But that's pretty much it for packaging. We'll be right back with this one out of package so we can get closer look. This guy comes with a trading card like we're so used to getting with all these McFarlanes. There is a little read on the back there now if you guys want to pause. And obviously we get these bases, which are pretty cool. Big fan of those. The option comes with 2 open hands. And in the package, obviously, we can see there that he comes with 2 fisted hands. He also comes with 2 of these back legs for the Build-A-Figure. And 2 of those are pretty much the same thing. Let's get a closer look at Superman. Pretty awesome face sculpt on this one. He doesn't look like the animated series. It's been so long that I can't really remember what comic book Superman looks like. I'm sure I'll look at some pictures after I do this review, which I should have looked at before I actually did the review. But pretty cool design, pretty cool head sculpt. Everything's clean, the eyes are painted clean. Face and everything else, everything's done clean on this one. Cool design in his hair. Superman symbol is nice and clean. Really like the sculpt on this one. McFarlane were very over the top with his abs, especially his top abs as opposed to his bottom. And even with the lats too, man. Look at the size of those lats. Pretty massive lats. I think that's one of the things that I actually dislike about this one. They could have slimmed it down, given him a nice V-taper. This just looks kind of weird, to be honest with you. But other than that, I like everything else about the sculpt. I do like the overall thick, beefy build for the Superman. I think I made a good decision in picking this one up. And I think it's a very good choice for my first Superman. Not really a fan of how the cape flows. That's another thing that I think they could have did different. It still looks kind of cool, but definitely think McFarlane could have did a better design on this one. Looks good from the front though. And I think the top part and everything else looks good. Alright, so let's take a few minutes to go over articulation. So for his head, it goes back this far, forward this far. You do have some side to side. You get full rotation. So his arms come up this far. Pretty decent range of motion there. There is a butterfly joint too. You get very limited range of motion out of that one. It is pretty tight too, but you can tell there that you don't get a full range of motion out of that. There is single joint elbows, which you get 90 degrees out of. And there is a rotation there as well. And as for his wrist, these ratchet joints go back, forward, side to side, whatever way you want to turn these, you can get a full range of motion out of them. There's 2 ball joints here, so you have upper and lower just above his waist. So this one goes back this far, very restricted going forward. Does have some side to side and a full rotation. So if you guys are into these action figures, I'm sure you guys know who Wade is from Untitled Universe. He actually chipped away at a lot of this and definitely fixed the articulation. I mean, there's very little motion going forward. They cut away a lot of this and it actually improved articulation a lot. So if you guys have this figure and you want to improve your articulation, check out Unparalleled Universe. He did an awesome job. Definitely one of my favorite YouTubers when it comes to action figures. Alright, continuing on with articulation. Like I previously mentioned, there's a ball joint down here too. And you get some side to side, some back and forward out of that one. A lot better range of motion out of this one. And there is a full rotation on the bottom as well. You do get pretty decent articulation. The only place is really restricted is going forward. As for his legs come out to a complete split. Go forward this far, back this far. So pretty decent range of motion. There's a full rotation there as well. I don't really like the feel of this joint when you try to get a full rotation. So I'll leave that to you guys. When I did it, some of the plastic here started to turn white, so I was afraid it was going to break. And I'm after breaking a couple of these McFarlanes now, going over articulation throughout reviews. I don't really want to risk breaking this one. There is double jointed pin knees, which you don't get a full range of motion out of it, but I think it's pretty decent. There's no boot cut or anything like that, no upper or thigh cut. And for his ankles, you get those same ratchet joints as the wrists, which go back and forth, and then you can kind of turn them to a side and you can get offense range motion, whatever you want to get out of them. Like I mentioned in some of my previous reviews, McFarlane has definitely improved on these ratchet joints. Like look how clean these look compared to the old ones. So it's one of the things that collectors were complaining about, and they listened and they fixed them up, and I think they look awesome. This one does have a toe joint as well. I'm not a fan of these black little pins that they put in though. and kind of takes away from the overall appearance of the figure. Especially like bright colored red like this, kind of stands out. Pretty average articulation with this one. It's restricted in some places, but overall you can still get this one in some pretty decent poses. Alright, for comparisons, we have some of the other figures in the line. Like I previously mentioned, here's Carrie Kelly as Robin, and we have the awesome Batman. Really like the way Frank Miller drew these. I really like the big, thick, beefy build for Batman and Superman, and I think it looks awesome. Big fan of Frank Miller as well. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up our unboxing and figure review for this DC McFarlane Dark Knight Returns Superman. I gotta say, overall, I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. Like the overall design of this one, love the overall sculpt. The only reason I didn't give this one a 10 out of 10 is a few minor details. I really don't like the black pins that McFarlane's using for his toe hinge. I'm kinda on the fence about the cape. I think they could have designed it a little bit better. I like it, but then I don't like it. I've never been so confused by the appearance of a cape before in my life. The main thing with this one that actually takes away some points is the articulation. I mean, there's no bicep swivel, single jointed elbows, no upper thigh cut or any kind of boot cut. Definitely a few things that could have been done with this one to improve overall articulation. But the overall appearance of this one makes up for everything. I wanted to give it a 10 out of 10, but the more I thought about it, the more I played with this figure. It's not a perfect figure, but man is it ever close. McFarlane did an awesome job with this one, so I think 9 out of 10 is a pretty fair score. As always, let us know in the comments below what you think of this figure, what you think of our review, and what do you think of our rating of 9 out of 10. If you had to rate this guy out of 10, what would you give it? Really love to hear your feedback. Really like to know what you guys would actually rate this one out of 10. If you liked our review, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, hit that like button, and that subscribe button is there as well if you want to support the channel. So close to 1,000 subs, any help getting there would be greatly appreciated. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Keep collecting, stay safe.